Hey, this is Michael from brainyfaceproject, and I have an update on the application that I'm building. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then you haven't seen my other video, and you can go watch that one. Basically, the too long didn't watch version of it is ChatGPT-4o is incredibly powerful. Sora is incredibly powerful. I mean, look at these images. It's incredible, right? But sometimes you want to reverse engineer a prompt, and if you do that, like, you can go in and you can take a look at, like, what crazy prompt did this person use? Whoa, this is huge, right? So if you click, you can go in and it looks like it's small at the bottom here, but then there's an incredibly long description. And if you wanted to reproduce this, you're going to have to save this file someplace. But what if you could just analyze the image instead, and you could save that information and use it over and over again? That's what the application that I built does, and it does this by using JSON data. JSON is JavaScript object notation, which is key value pairs. So I have an update, and what I want to do here is just jump in to ChatGPT or the Sora page. I'm just going to scroll down the page here, and we're going to reverse engineer a couple images. I kind of love this one here. This one caught my eye, so I need to do this. And let's see how long this prompt is. It's not too long, actually. But if I wanted to reproduce this, like, one of the things I want to do in my application is create different profile folders. And this would fit in nicely to, like, crafts. If you were incredibly skilled, I know some people have an incredible level of skill, you could actually carve that out of wood, hang some string, and make this and probably sell it on Etsy. But here in this world, in the virtual world, we just want to recreate the image. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to save this image. And I've got a couple images in this folder that I was playing around with a couple minutes ago, but I'm just going to call this one Birdseed. And we'll start fresh. This is a WebP file here, so I'm saving that. And I'll just grab one more as I go down the page here. I see some cool ones. I love the origami as well. Very inspirational to look at some of these, to see the images and the prompts that people have used. But okay, this one is kind of wild here. It looks like a pretzel. It looks like a drummer and a pretzel. Let's click on this and see what it, okay. I think that's Netherlands, but I don't know. So this is a good example, okay, because ChatGPT is a global application. And what I can do instead is I can just save this file instead of having to go to Google Translate and lose a layer of translation. I'm just going to call this pretzeldrummer.webp. And let's go ahead and analyze this image here. So what I'm going to do now, I've got this image saved. I'm going to go over here to a new instance of ChatGPT-4o. And I'm going to click on my downloads folder, and I'm just going to click and drag this pretzel drummer, and it's going to look at the image. And I just dragged the image. I didn't ask it to do anything. So let me ask it, I'll ask it, please analyze this image and use the JSON data below to create a new JSON block of text that can be used to create new images. And now what I'm going to do is go over to the application. And this is my prompt builder here. I've made quite a few changes since last week. I've been very busy. And so what I can do now is I can just take this interface, and I'll just show it in case there's somebody new to the video who doesn't have any idea what this is and doesn't want to watch the whole other video. Basically what you do is you create the image from using key value pairs. So instead of using regular words, you can be way more granular, and you can define all sorts of different categories, and you can put values inside, and you can edit all of these. So you can take any one of these categories, And I've got a lot of defaults built in here, but you can also add additional categories if you want to. So you can add category to your heart's content. You just keep adding. And then for each one of these, like I've got all sorts of different angles for camera angle. You've got lighting options. So you've got like lighting temperature. And so I've got all these presets built here. And then you can go in and edit these choices if you want to. Add new. I'll just show you real quick one of the changes that I added here is the ability to use keyboard shortcuts on a lot of these items. So like if I wanted to move the 7,000 up to the very top, before I had to click, 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 I like keyboard shortcuts. So now you just click on the item and you press Alt on the keyboard and U for up, boom, 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 moves it all the way up. And if I want to move down, it's Alt D. And then if I want to save the order, then I can just press Alt S and I can save. So point is, I've got all these different prompts that have been converted to JSON, and what I want to do now is I want to use just a general block of JSON data and give it to ChatGPT. So I'm going to copy by going down to the lower right, copy JSON data, and now I'm going to turn off my camera here. You don't need to see me for the rest of this here. And so now I'm just going to paste this into ChatGPT. And it's going to take a look at the original image, and then it is going to analyze it. Okay, so baked dough, possibly pretzel. I wasn't wrong. ChatGPT-4o and I concur. The patient is a pretzel drummer. Okay, so now it's actually building the JSON file for me. And when this gets done, what I can do is I can import this over into my application. Wow, look at all this data here. It is so specific. Drumsticks, golden brown glaze, hyper-realistic sculpture, Boolean operators here. So I've got no special effects being applied to this. But anti-aliasing is on, photoreal shading is on. Okay, so there we go. I'm just going to copy this, go over to the application, and I'm going to choose JSON import. And now all I have to do is go in here and do a paste. And then I need to plug in a profile name. And so I'll just call this pretzel sculpture. And I can save to different folders, but I'm just going to put this in root, which is the basic default folder here. And with the preamble, that is the description up at the very top. So you can customize the preamble. That's just like the instruction at the very beginning. And if you don't have that, you need to type it in. If your JSON file doesn't have it, you need to type it in. But since it has it, I'm just going to click import. And now my profile pretzel sculpture is imported. And so now what I can do is I can load this up, but check this out. If I go in here now to profile, I have the ability to do my load profile menu, and that expands out. I also have an interface, but before I go into the interface here, let me just show you. These are all the root items up here at the top, and then I've got all of these different folders. And these folders can contain different profiles. So you can be uber organized and you can create hundreds, thousands of different profiles as well. So if I wanted to, I could go in here to like sci-fi. I'm creating a new series for people who don't want to do the JSON data. So like a weekly one that's going to focus on either sci-fi or illustrations or corporate logos or different types of things, and do like 10 different prompts written in natural language and share those out. But behind the scenes, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm building out all of these really cool JSON profiles. And so I'm saving all of them out. Right now I've done children's stories and sci-fi, and I'm building out others as well. So you can see like I've got 10 different profiles in there. But if you notice, and I want to go out here and check here, somebody take a look, call you out by name to say thank you here. Turn the camera back on. Is Richard Slater. Thank you very much for your comment, because you recommended that I put in frequently used profiles or favorites. And what I did, I thought a lot about this, is I decided to go in and add favorites. And I'm also going to have recently used. And for the favorites now, what you can do is, let me just go ahead here and go into the manage profiles, because you can either load profile here, or you can go into this dialog box and you can take a look. Like if I go in here to root profiles, I can see that I've got my pretzel sculpture. Let me go ahead and load this up. But the other thing that I can do is I can go in now to profile and do manage profiles. When you go into manage profiles, you have the ability to go in here to, let's say, pretzel sculpture, and I'm just going to highlight it. Do you notice what's different about some of these items over here? They've got stars next to them. And if you have a star, that means it's a favorite. So what you can do is you can just click on one of the items. I'm clicking on pretzel sculpture. It's not a favorite yet. We'll see how it actually turns out before I would really mark it as a favorite. But now I can just do toggle favorite, and there's a star next to it. I can also do keyboard shortcuts. I've added a lot more keyboard shortcuts into the application. It provides for a much more streamlined workflow, in my opinion. And if you press Alt on the keyboard and F, I'm just pressing that, it toggles the state. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark that as a favorite and do close. And now if I go to profile, load menu, and I go to favorites, let's see. Yep, there we go. Got pretzel sculpture root. So I added the logic in there to actually identify the folder as well. So it'll show you up there on your favorites which folder it's actually loading from. So it gives you the profile name, and then it gives you the folder name. So I go, oh, Prompt Lab, Sci-Fi. Then I could actually go down there if I wanted to, and I could see what other ones are available. Keyboard shortcut of Control L brings me into this box, which is the load profile. And my search capability comes in really handy here, because I could just go in and do a search by typing in the words. I can clear my search as well. But yeah, the favorites feature is really cool. All right, so let's just take a look at this subject primary. Let's just go ahead and let's make a robot, and we'll do a futuristic robot. The secondary subject is, we're going to call it a mech warrior. And then everything else probably the same as I'm scrolling through this. One of the things that I did is I added the ability to do a save profile as. If you do save profile, it will ask you if you want to overwrite. But what you can do instead is you can just say save profile as, and there's a keyboard shortcut there, Control-Shift-S. And then it automatically puts in a copy. So pretzel sculpture copy, and I'll just say of a robot. And I'll save that in root for the time being and do save. Now the meme attributes from last week, those are still there because I like being able to create memes, and there's a default there because you can go in and say meme, set top text, and I'll just say when you're, I can't type, when you're a robot, and I'll just do bottom text, you get all twisted up. Yeah, I know that's stupid. But anyway, see, it automatically then goes in and says create a meme with top text like that. And so it's got the top and bottom text, but you can also, if you want to now, toggle the state, include meme instructions and preamble. You can just turn that on and off, and that gets saved. If I do a Control S, it gets saved within the profile, so it remembers the settings for each and every one. And if you want to, you can also clear the meme texts as well. But as long as I do that, it's going to store it. So say include, and it remembers within the profile the meme text as well. Let's make it a meme. Let's just see if this actually works. So let me just go in here to copy JSON, and I'm going to set up a new instance of ChatGPT-4o, and I'm simply going to paste this, and we'll see if it rolls that. And I think I had another image, didn't I? So let me go back here. I've got that analysis. Let me just go ahead here and do a new image. What did I do before? Oh, it was the birdseed one, the crafts. So I'm just going to add that here, and I'll just go up here, be lazy, and just say, I'll just actually copy this whole thing from before. Copy, paste this. So now I've got this image, which was the tree and the boy and the bird and the yarn. It looks like a little sculpture, and I'm going to ask it to analyze that, because that one I think I want to actually add into a crafts folder so I can use that. All right, so based on the provided image, a heartwarming miniature sculpture of a boy in a swing offering birdseed to a robin, here's your new JSON file. And it's Friday on a 3-day weekend coming up here in the States. So ChatGPT is getting hammered pretty hard. It's moving slow. Let's see what we got here. If I go back over here, it looks like it's still drawing. So there, boom. Isn't that cool? All right. This is why I love this. So just going through the Explore page, I saw something that somebody over in the Netherlands had created, which looked really cool. And it was of a drummer, but I wanted a pretzel. And it's got little drummer things in there. So there must have been some residual stuff that I still picked up on, but check that out. Now I've actually turned this into a meme, and I saved it as a profile. And so that's, it works, man. So it works. So let me go over here now and take a look at this JSON. And we're going to go over here to the application. What I'll show you is one more thing. Let me open up Notepad++ and drag this over here. And I'm just going to paste this. So this is what ChatGPT gave me. And now I'm going to do a save as. And I'm going to save this here into a folder I created called import, and I'm just going to do crafts import, and now I can close Notepad. The reason I did this is when I go in now under JSON and I do import JSON profile, I showed you this before. You can just copy and paste, and you plug in a name, you can put in the folder, and that's great. But now I've got from file. And what I can do is I can actually browse for a JSON file, or if I want to, I can drag and drop. So if I've got like imports and resize this, I can click and drag this over. And so now it knows, like I've got crafts import, I pointed to that. And I'm just going to go ahead and name this. And I'll call this one boy on swing. I'll just call it an ornament. And do I have a crafts folder yet? I do. I want to put it into crafts. And let's see if this works. So drag and drop the JSON file, or I could actually do browse if I wanted, but I did a drag and drop. I'll say import. Bam. There you go. Profile boy on swing ornament is imported. So now I can go in, Control L to load. I go into my crafts. And there I've got my boy on swing ornament. So I'm going to load. Go ahead and do my one-time clear of, I don't think I want a meme on this one. So I'm going to just turn that off. And I'll save the profile, because then it'll remember that next time. And let's go ahead and switch this. What do I have here? I've got some defaults here for subjects. And what I'll do here is just do young adult female. And then instead of a robin bird, I will do a tabby kitten. And starter pack accessories, I'll do catnip. And then the rest of the settings here, wood, moss, twine, that all looks good. Earth tones, warm neutrals, bokeh blur. Wow. Okay. Looks good to me. And by the way, these items down here for lighting effects, if I wanted to, I could add, like, let me just see if it'll add a rainbow. So I can save settings. These are all sub dialogues. I did fix some bugs because I had a couple bugs in the sub dialogues, and so those are now fixed. But I also have the ability, if I go in, I can move items up and down by using keyboard shortcuts in there of Alt-U and Alt-D respectively for up and down, and Alt-S to save the order. Alt-S to save. And let me just go in here to copy JSON, and I'm going to do a new, and we're just going to paste that and see what this one looks like. Okay, while this one is actually rendering out here, just wanted to say thanks again. Appreciate the comments a lot. I really do appreciate the comments and feedback, the ideas. The favorites thing was genius. I'm also going to add a recently used feature as well. I had somebody else that said, this was Merlin VN, said that they use JSON files as well, and that they're pretty detailed in terms of their characters and describing. So as that's rendering out, you can see the rainbow up at the top. That's pretty cool. But let me just pop back over to the application. I do have subject, primary, secondary, and then remember, you can add all the categories you want. And that's the power of this, is you can do like clothing top, clothing bottom. You could add additional attributes as much as you want to. And if you don't want to use them, you can just put in none. So you can be very descriptive in terms of what the characters are wearing. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? So now I've got my little handcrafted craft, and I've got the girl now with a cat. The cat is, fortunately, this is family friendly, so the cat is not eating the bird, and she's got a leaf of some sort that she's playing with, and the rainbow's shining in the background. So very cool. Just by clicking one little thing under lighting effects, it went ahead and did that, and I could just add all of these. So I've pre-populated this with all these different ideas. Rule of thirds, it actually did apply some of those settings. Background options, we got render quality, water detail. If we wanted to, we could add raindrops and stuff. So lots and lots of fun here. The other thing I wanted to say, and then I think I'll go ahead and do one more random just for fun, and then we'll head into the holiday weekend here, is somebody had recommended doing thumbnails. When I go into my profile management, I'm thinking that I might actually do this. This is going to be a heck of a lot of work, and I hope I can figure this out. But when you go into this screen, wouldn't it be cool if when you click on one of these items here, that it would actually show you a little thumbnail off to the side? The box is going to have to be bigger, so it's going to take up some of your monitor real estate. It's going to take up some screen size. But when you click on these items here, like, it would actually pop up and give you an example of like horror house, or with logos. You could have different things under marketing, you know, like on my last video I did A&W root beer, and it would actually show you a thumbnail. So what I'm thinking about doing is adding an additional utility under manage profiles, and then you would just click on a little button, probably like thumbnail. And when you click on that, it would allow you to drag one of your pictures on, like a PNG file or a JPEG file, and then it would size it down into a smaller thumbnail. So when you're in this screen and you click on an item, if it has, I'll have to build the logic for that, it would actually show you a thumbnail off to the side. And I forget who said this here. I'll probably massacre your name. Apologies for that. But Benamazizi, thank you for that idea. I hope I can pull it off here, and you'll see what I can get done by next week. And then I think it'll be in pretty good shape. So that would be cool to have that. And then also when you go into the load profiles, it would be nice when you click to have a little profile over off to the side. It may be too much. I may be biting off more than I can chew in doing that, but I thought it was a good idea. And so thanks for all of the comments. I did get a lot of people saying that they want to assist in beta testing. Right now, this is private beta. So I'll have an update. I'll probably do another video in the next week or so letting you know what the status is. And then it would be cool. I'll figure out how to get this out there to the world. For people who want to have very precise and granular control over their image creation in ChatGPT-4o, and then most importantly, be able to save and edit the configuration. And one of the really fun things about this is I've added this randomize feature. So randomize just takes all of these attributes that you've got plugged in for any key value pair and also the sub dialogues down below. And when you click randomize, it just like, it's a big Russian roulette. It just spins it around, and well, maybe not Russian roulette. It depends. Maybe you get that in one of your images, and you can see it just changes all of the settings and camera overlays. Oh, that's a lot. It's got almost everything turned on. Let me do another camera overlays. See, it randomizes every single feature. And then the other thing I was thinking about is also to have a randomize where you can just spin the wheel and it would just load up one of your existing profiles instead of randomizing everything. So I've got that on my build list as well. So let me just go ahead and copy this. I don't even know what we've got here, but I'm just going to open up a brand new window and just going to paste this in here. Oh, I don't have an attached photo, so I'm just going to take that out. And let's just see if it creates it. Oh boy, okay. So it actually put in the text because I had under the memes, oh Lord, there's a fire. It's added that in. Oh, which actually kind of works here. Got the attic filled with stuff, artistic style. It's got some hints of Henry Matisse as an artist. It's got the tabby cat, the wildlife. It's added the chimpanzee, and the cat is on top of a watermelon. So that is absolutely crazy. Thanks for watching. If you haven't done so, please like, subscribe, and share. I appreciate it. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.